Greetings, my fellow sea ice monsters. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld Biotech, the first Wendigo. Episode 110, Streamlined, Butchery. Really hoping for some ground pen scanners coming up. Hey, Sleepy. Thank you for the resub. Hey, there we go. One Mingle Scar now healed by Luciferium. So in, 30 to 45 days, another Scar will be healed? So we're halfway there. Just got a gripe about it a little bit, apparently. Alright, so the other thing that we're going to want in here is shelves. I'll start making the shelves for the meat. I think the amount of meat that we're going to have here is going to be bordering on the absurd, but I'm fine with having an absurd amount of meat. It wouldn't be a terrible idea to have like an army of corset makers to help T-Sang out, to allow for Lo and Bryzit to also make corsets. Just a thought, because the amount of human leather we end up getting is pretty ridiculous. And if we just had like more people corseting, you know, we could turn that leather into much more higher value add. Oops. We do have 2 embryos going, so I should get some more baby xenogerms going as well. But I think all of the colonists are pretty well engineered at this point. Chimik and Rogi most recently getting their own genomes. And Snaps, thank you for the resub, Mr. Snicker Snaps. So the meat priority over here is important. So over here, it's going to be preferred for human meat. And this is going to be one giant preferred human meat storage, so that I can butcher all the humans that I want, and I'll have, you know, meat safely secured. And unfortunately, you know, it's going slow because we just don't have a lot of slate. So if this is important, I'll put this as like normal. But then I should probably take over here foods off of this, off of these kind of like other shelves. Not that they currently have any food, but just so that we don't put it there. But it looks like my textiles are pretty filling up. So I'm actually going to go to the effort of doing exactly what you just said, which was 2 more tailoring benches, specifically for Rogi and Lo, because they are both... No, not Rogi and Lo. Bryzit and Lo, because they are potentially tailors, and I don't really care about the quality. I just want more corsets made. Although Bryzit's going to be really busy making like xenogerms. But at least there'll be a dedicated bench. So that would be Bryzit, Lo, Mass. Oh, Mass can tailor as well. So let's get even another one. I know it's looking kind of crazy, but you know. Which way is this facing? Should be up. There might be a better layout here. Let me consider. Consider the aesthetics. And you guys want me to build with Jade. Got it. So first up is going to be Wendy's room, and I'm even going to bother with a jade door. I'm going to get rid of where those vents are and probably move where the vents are. I might even just rearrange the room entirely to be east-facing, because I don't really like this layout. That's 8 and 5. No, maybe. Oh, yeah, I'm going to change it. It's been an odd amount of calm recently. Oh, I never implanted Udagal with pacifism. A little bit of a worry here. Because Udagal's kind of genetically important, and I kind of don't want to kill him. Her. So I'm sending Chimik out to subdue, because Chimik is not a particularly good brawler. And Udagal... No, Udagal has been engineered. What I did it wrong. Oh, Udagal has the baby engineering. Okay. Well, that's fine. The baby engineering makes you, like, super wimpy and experience extra pain, so it only took, like, 2 punches. Granted, one of them almost took his head off, or her head off. So, I need to engineer that, too. A perfect prisoner xenogerm. Is there another one in here that is not, set up right? Pointer, but Pointer doesn't have legs, so that's not a problem. And then the other baseliners in here, I think, are paralyzed because of paralytic abasia, unless they randomly got up. But I don't see any of them walking around, so I don't think that's a problem. My new baby xenogerm is even better because it has dead column and kind already in it. True. And then I won't have to, like, do that. I can just implant baby, and then if they're going to be imprisoned, they can just be shifted over to the prison. It's not it's not metabolism 5+, though, I don't think. But maybe that's not that big of a deal. The other thing I'm going to start to do is the vegetarian lavish meals I'm going to cancel, and I'm just going to call it lavish meals. Because we have a lot of random meat from the wargs and other animals that showed up. So... that will be vegetarian and meat that is not insect or human. Although, that clashes with my regular lavish meal, so actually hold on that. And we'll just use up the vegetarian ones. You know what I'm going to do? Yeah. I'm going to probably make cannibal lavish meals. That way they're easily differentiated. So we still have 11 lavish meals left for Guitar Lilin and Rodays. And then once we run out of those, I'll have to come up with a better solution. But let's go ahead and suspend the cannibal lavish meals for now. I'll actually full out cancel it. And Lo got the flu. That sucks. You have strong immunity, so at least you'll heal quick. But let's have Wendy do the tending. And then maybe you'll switch to the hospital, so you recover faster. Should be pretty quick. The other thing that I could do, and I haven't really been doing, is like preach health. I keep forgetting that mass is has that role. Just because mass has a social skill of like a toddler. So counsel and things like that aren't really useful, but preach health doesn't have a minimum requirement like that, so I gotta remember to use that when I can. So low should recover really, really quickly now with all those benefits. The high mate can be rescanned in about 6 days, and I need to do that, or I should do that as soon as it's off cooldown. And I think I am gonna put lights in here, just for the sake of the hauler bots. And change my mind for the sake of symmetry. Move it up 1. Move it and make it a little bit wider. And that way there's a center point. This is 11. And that way it can look nicer. Like a wine cellar, but for human meat. Which would be like Hannibal Lecter. Oh, sorry. Hannibal Lecter's dream. Dry aged human meat. Exactly. And this negative 40 Celsius, I am sure, is quite dry. There's not a lot of humidity that can exist in a temperature that cold. So still working on that storage, but it is a project to end the requirements of future projects. I'm excited by that. Still don't have the baby xenogerms out. Dear Lord, Bryzit. How busy are you? Alright, let's have Bryzit not camp on the Psyfocus throne forever and ever and ever. Get Bryzit actually working. Down here, did the robots... No, they haven't cleaned up yet. Hey, buddy. Rice is looking scarcer and scarcer. I don't like it. Is that because our mechs recharging... working? No, I mean, they're working. I don't know. I think it's just all the prisoners and the lavish meals and, you know, everything else. So I'm not going to add in any more shells for now. I'm just going to wait until the actual structure's laid out. And then I can make it nice and fancy. But it'll be a cool little freezer. And it will benefit from the mountain insulation. You have fibrous and sensory mechanites? Are you trying to collect them all? What next? You're going to get the flu? With low? So that's sight, hearing, talking, manipulation, moving, blood pumping. You're going to be really, really, really sleepy. So you're like, yeah, okay, that's pretty strange. There's no power to the new freezer? No, not yet. I mean, I don't even have the coolers really set up yet. So, given the ambient temperatures negative bajillion, it's not something I really need at this very moment. But we will. It's easy enough to run power there, because I've got power cables all over it on both sides. But I want to do the smoothing first, because a lot of the power is going to run in the walls where the smoothing is, probably. Let's see. These components probably should be hauled. Is this the baby's xenogerm? Perfect. So let's get a perfect prisoner. Do I actually need a cooler when the ambient temperature is that low? Yes, because in the summers, it can raise above freezing, and then things will spoil and get ruined if I don't have, you know, a little bit extra coolers to make sure that doesn't happen. It has happened, I'll put it that way. So it doesn't happen often, but it does happen. So I'm not going to go for, like, maximum storage space in here, because there's going to be plenty of shelves for a crazy amount of food. I'm just going to have it be, like, somewhat aesthetically pleasing in terms of storage layout. Like this. I like how Wendy just locked herself inside. Sorry, Violet. You can't get out. I think this warrants also a uranium door. Tougher. Doesn't require power, so it won't break down, but also fireproof. So we wouldn't want the meat catching on fire. Although on shelves, it's not going to catch on fire like that, but still. I'm not entirely sure, other than the high mate, that there's even genes on these individuals that I even want to scan. Like, what's left in an impid up here that I even want, right? There really isn't. I already have poor plants. I already have poor animals. I don't really need to scan them anymore. So I'll just wait to scan the waster. Psychic dependency would be a good one to scan. And then I need hussars, but I don't have any hussars at the moment. So we're getting close to having the freezer laid out. For the sake of symmetry, I might actually just have 2 chimneys on either side. And then I'm also going to want to floor it up. Make it fancy. Let's go crazy. Butcher human like forever. Not have a preset quantity. Here comes the big harvest. Wendy's bedroom is undignified, so let's fix that too. I'm going to force that quickly because I don't really want to piss her off. Will things collapse, actually, before we continue to remove walls? 15? Yeah, 14? Yeah, they will. So don't remove that just yet. That's acting as a roof holding up pillar. So the way I want to lay it out, I am going to super jade it. I'm going to have 2 doors side by side. For symmetry's sake more than anything else. She's going to use up, like, a lot of jade. So whatever jade is left is for the barracks. She comes first. I have nowhere to put steel anymore. Jeez. We went from deficit to extreme excess. I'll put steel in this random overflow stockpile. And I'll use hex tile in the doorway. So finally getting a slightly nicer room. It was never bad, but it never had jade walls fully. Also, obviously need a jade wall up the south. 2. Says I'm out of jade, but I don't believe it. I think there's a ton of jade left in the mountain that I've yet to haul. Yep. Alright, that's where she's heading now. The 2 doors were very costly. The equivalent of 5 walls. A self-tamed lynx. Time for slaughter. Where are you taking that? Wait, did I say release? Oh, whoops. Wrong button. Release. That would be an affront. Because I don't want an undignified bedroom for very long, I'm just going to micromanage Wendy to make sure that this gets built. And then at some point, someone will dye it. But we'll also change the layout. And this might be the double-sized mech cluster that I was promised. It's a smoke spewer. It doesn't look double-sized. No, it's not linked to the quest. It's just a mech cluster. So there's a high mech shield, so I can't mortar it, except for the east side here. It prints pikemen, scythers, lancers, so no centipedes. It has a bunch of mech drop beacons, like a lot of mech drop beacons. So it's a bit of a Trojan horse. It's a bit of a hidden danger. Bunch of turrets. So yeah, we'll wake it. We'll piss it off soon. Let's go ahead and create a void zone for now until I have the patience to deal with it. So we'll invert this and just force everybody that was previously free to roam to not go in there. And I can always piss it off when guests come. But it does have a countdown activator of 6.4 days, so it's going to start printing up mechs. Granted, they aren't centipedes, so they're a little bit easier to deal with. So I can just let them print mechs and just deal with that. Because it's going to be easy mechs to kill. Am I out of... No, I'm not out of sandstone. So why aren't you building this? Icefire, thank you for the resub. Oh, Rager's doing it. Okay. So I will put the chimney here in the center. Like that. Behind another uranium door. And then I'll definitely put some fire foam poppers in here as well. To prevent fires anyway. Even though I don't think fires are going to be an issue for this room. And then run power to it, and this project will be done. Probably flooring as well. A lot of nice to haves. Oops. So here is the jade coloring for her bedroom. At some point, maybe her own furniture should probably be done as well. I could get around to doing that. Oh, that's nicer. Am I still moving the butchery over? I was thinking of it. I was thinking of, I mean, once the lights are in, putting in a bit of a butchery here so that this becomes a zone to haul corpses to, and then also illuminate it so that we can butcher here if we want. So there's more to be done. Who is our artist? That was Frosty. And Frosty, once you're up, you'll be dyeing Wendy's bedroom. Okay. Hey, another raid. Loop. Thank you for the raid, and welcome. We are doing some quality of life colony improvements here in RimWorld. What were you up to? You too were playing RimWorld in French, it looks like. So I hope your raiders are English fluent. If they're not, I apologize. Tell me about your colony. My colony is pretty straightforward, sort of. Now, actually, it's really convoluted now that I think about it. The TLDR is that the leader of our colony is a sociopath, brilliant scientist, and she's trying to breed monsters in germline gene monsters. So instead of like implanting with xenogenes like hussars, she's trying to breed them. So she has a giant prison full of people. She extracts eggs, and then she breeds them to her heart's content. So every colonist in the colony here is vat grown in a vat by ripping eggs out of prisoners and designing colonists. It's pretty sick. Purposefully. Oh, you are getting toxic buildup. Yeah, and that's not necessary. I can just move you over a tiny bit. Ah, and as an Amazon colony doing a matriarchal meme. That's pretty cool. I've not done, to my knowledge, unless I've forgotten something, I don't think I've ever done like a gendered, oh, not a solar flare. I don't think I've ever done a gendered run like that. I've been tempted to, but a lot of my series are voted on by my community, so it's just picked by like popular or whatever, and I've never had that. So now that I have a solar flare, I have no idea when it will run out, so I'm just going to harvest whatever I can harvest early, because I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of crop loss. So this colony is right now working, as you can see above my head. We are guarding 2 different quests. One quest is royals that need guarding that was going to summon a double-sized mech cluster, which is not this mech cluster that just came down. It's some other mech cluster. And then the other quest is guarding prisoners, and they were going to send a whole bunch of Edekin sappers, but that turned out to be a pathetic attack that we defended against very easily, and they have long since gone. So right now it's just some quality of life quests for these colonists, and finishing up this meat locker, because we are cannibals, and I have a lot of corpses, but I haven't butchered a whole lot of them. And I think I know how I want to do the butchery. I've thought about it. So I'm going to be setting up the butchery, but I'm going to be changing the way it's laid out. So a ton of the people in the pods just got biostarved due to that solar flare. Nothing I could do about that. That's just what happens during solar flares. Still waiting on Kim to gene regrow. And then the next egg time is like 5-6 days? I think 6 days. I think the last one was Cath, so 6 days would be Cath's. So in 6 days, we'll do another egg harvest. If you have any questions, just let me know about this specific colony. Shimmick. That's serious, but it should be going down. The heater should be catching up. When it's, oh, wow, it is negative 61 Celsius out, negative 77 Fahrenheit. Yikes. Okay, Wendy, I'm going to have you intervene on the behalf of the colonists a little bit. Burn their retinas with solar pinholes, but this room needs to warm up. I didn't realize how cold it was. That's pretty awful. How's the prisoners? The prisoners are in a pretty cold room as well. A psychic suppressor and psychic drone only male. You know, if you could get like a permanent psychic suppressor, you know, like a mech part that is psychic suppressor, if you're a male only colony, all that will do is absolutely cripple half of whatever raids attack you, which is brilliant. It's one of the super powers of a gendered RimWorld series, is that if you get psychic suppression, a permanent psychic suppressor from a mech cluster of the gender you don't care about, just leave it forever and wall it in, protect it, because all it's doing is completely debilitating half of any raid that comes to mess with you, which is amazing. How is this not linked to a building? Is it really not? Does it... What's going on here? I'm gonna make sure it's linked. For some reason or another, I'm like paranoid that it's not. Kish. Kish. Don't help. Where's Kish? Don't help. Don't particularly like the mech bots like intervening because they're so slow. Yeah, okay, no, it was linked. A part of me thinks that, why does these jade walls look like a different shade? It's a different shade, isn't it? Well, you know what? I could do a little Tinctoria here on this farm and fix that. Another thing I was going to say is, if I move this room down one to match the throne room, but then I'd have to move the doors, and I don't know, it gets messy. So some other things that we're still waiting on is to haul in this jade. So I'll have 157 jade plus the 97 That should be enough jade to line the barracks, I think. The damage from the Doomsday Launcher is finally getting patched. So what I wanted to do over here for the Butchery is something like this. Have a separate standalone room that's that is auto-doored. I know that seems strange, but just go with me for a second. A second standalone room that's auto-doored with the butcher tables in, double walled as much as we can so that they're insulated, and then given tool cabinets. Maybe I'll put tool cabinets back here, look a little more elegant. Tool cabinets and lights so that we can butcher more quickly. And heated so that there's no butcher speed penalties. And then it's butchered here. Maybe it should be... Well, it's butchered here so that the clothing that gets butchered off of this gets just, like, strewn about outside where it can decay. Because it will be tainted clothing anyway, and I don't want it. But maybe I'll move this... Well, I can't move it any further west. So I'll just leave it here. So let's get that done. So instead of lights, I can just have heaters. Yeah. I'll just have heaters. And maybe I'll put a wall here to lessen the volume of the room so that it's easier to heat. The reason for auto doors is just so that we open and close it quickly, and that way the heat doesn't escape. Because that's a real concern. The other thing I might want to do is get a few more parkas, because a lot of the new members are like hurting for insulating clothing. Heavy fur, and then make some new pants and the whatnot out of high quality clothes or high quality materials. So let's get that done. Yeah, auto doors are just kind of nice to have every now and then when you want to open and close things rapidly, so that you know, the heat exchange between the outside is not so great, because it is so cold here. Wendy is due for death rest soonish. My worry is that I'm going to have to time it with the countdown activator so that she's not death resting when the mechs come online. So that would be annoying. So I think Rogi also needs a parka, so I'll make 2 parkas. Because I haven't deep scanned plasteel yet. Still waiting on that. Ooh, Chimmick, you probably should be out there. So this is part of the same project, but designed in such a way that these butcher tables can operate really quickly, so we can get through corpses quickly, and then also so that the clothing spills out outdoors where it's where we want it to spill out, essentially. I might even shrink this down some more. I don't know how many heaters I'm going to need, but yeah, shrink it down some more for even smaller volume, so it's easier to heat and there's less room for like random clothing to spill anywhere. My character does not breed animals. She breeds humans, so there's never going to be guinea pig breeding or any animals of any sort. I don't she'll never really have animals because she's breeding people. That's her preference. Jimmy's like, I'm gonna go into my mama's bedroom because I'm cold. But ultimately, if you wanted a high volume amount of wool, guinea pig is warm, but it's certainly not high volume. You're gonna get more bang for your buck out of like buffalo or mega sloth or something like that. Really, any wool is fine unless you're in such ridiculously extreme cold temperatures that it would matter. Alpaca, bison, you name it, it'd be fine. I don't bother going into the whole guinea pigging meta. If you're gonna go to that level of trouble, you might as well just do Thrumbo, in my opinion. So I've started to lay out the cabling. I think actually, if we're gonna make this not fireproof, but fire resistant, I should probably run the cables on the outside walls, because that poses a lot less of a threat to the inside material. But that's going to require us to do some smoothing, because there's gaps. And the smoothing is going to take a minute, because of the amount of time it will take to actually run that smoothing, because Wendy hasn't done that. Whoa, Wendy has not sci-focused in a while either. On the CI challenge, you bothered with guinea pigs for best installation? The quality of the crafter matters a whole lot more than the bang for your buck you're going to get out of the installation for that. But I respect that. I've done sea ice challenges before. But on hard enough difficulty that guinea pig breeding would have been impractical and near impossible. Because just with a human leather parka, Chimic's cold protection is enough that he's not going to become immediately hypothermic anymore. Do we? No, we still don't have to clean up. Silly Roombas. Not getting around to that. Place a vent between the butcher tables? Yeah, I could do that. Keep them separate. I also need a floor up kind of everything. I was going to create a floored path. Put all this in steel, even the chimney, and then eventually probably knock out the wind turbine and have it all floored. But for now, I can just have a path around the wind turbine. I'm not going to bother shoveling it just yet, but just to speed things up. No acceptable food, and this is for the royal guests. Okay. So Wendy doesn't have acceptable food either. Perfect. So one of the things I wanted to do is carnivore lavish meals for Wendy. And this will be made of human meat only. And that way, all of the carnivore lavish meals will be, cannibal carnivore. And that allows me to then queue up a lavish meal for guests that need, special treatment. And that way it's easy to designate the lavish meals as for guests and the carnivore lavish meals is for Wendy. So now that we have that set up, let me readjust the cannibal lavish meals queue. So clear all carnivore lavish meals only, and that's for Wendy, and then also Hemogen because she's a vampire. And then the guests are going to go to regular lavish meals with appetizing meat and then also simple meals. Done. And I'll have Wendy cook up a batch. I mean, she's a good enough cook that it's not going to be a problem. She wants to cook for herself and then eventually the guests. So when is the next egg harvest? I believe Kath was the last. 5 days. That's still a while. Kim, your scan is in 2.5 days. Countdown activator in 4.7. So I think when Wendy has when there's 2.5 days left-ish on the countdown activator, I'll have Wendy death rest, even if it's early, so that she's awake by the time the countdown activator kicks in, so that I can prep for it and smoke. Well, no pun intended, given the smoke spewer, but smoke this. My guess is the mech drop beacon's going to bring in some real heavy hitters, because what is seen in this mech cluster is pretty pathetic. So it's what is not seen, I think, is the danger, which is everything that's going to pop out of the capsules and drop beacons. And of course, Raven, as you mentioned, we have the double mech cluster from the Royal Quest coming in. Mech clusters are pretty manageable for me, because worst case scenario, mech clusters will never be breach or sap. They will always attack following attack paths, which is very predictable and easy to handle, compared to breaching and sapping mechs, which, we're going to plow through whatever defenses you've laid out for them. So I'm never really all that... Oh, wow. Holy cow. I'm never really all that worried about, those kind... Unless, of course, they have, like, a lot of auto motors or auto motors that you can't exploit and turn off. So there's a few cases where mech clusters can be problematic, but that generally is not the case. Thank you for tuning in to RimWorld, the first Wendigo, which originally streamed live on Twitch, February 19th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my gaming community, Rhadamant.com also has a link to Discord, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow Wendigos,